What is up, YouTube? I am Afakasi Raider. I've got my boy Ont6 to my left. I'm going to make sure I'm pointing the right way because everything's flipped. We have a guest today joining us for the first time, and I believe the first time I've had a female guest on my panel. It is none other than Raider Love. You see her on the Raider Connection with my guy Cheetos. So appreciate you sharing your time and giving us your insights in that. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And Ont6, how are we doing today, brother?
I'm good, brother. Another day, another dollar. Just waiting, keeping our waiting to see who our next head coach is going to be, brother. Just everybody keeps pulling out their names, but yeah, we still have no head coach.
And salute to the chat. Salute to you, Robert. So I wanted to do something different for my live today, which is going to be the main topic at hand. I'm going to dive too deep in regards to who's going to be our head coach and the Fernando Mendoza debate, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Most people who watch us already know my side of the fence. So I'm going to take a step back for now, and I'm going to ask the two guests how they feel in the situation. We're going to try and keep it short and sweet and then go to the main topic at hand. Try and go over something different, try and break things up because, you know, it kind of gets a little, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Jarring, going over the same stuff over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So, but I want it on Six's takes first, and then I'll go to you, Raider Love. What's your two takes on either the potential head coaching situation and the whole Fernando Mendoza debate? I'll leave it up to you.
I mean, first of all, thanks for having me on. Shout out to everyone in the chat. At the end of the day, man, I just want us to get the right head coach in here. I don't care how long it takes. You know what I mean? Supposedly from right here, we interviewed approximately 15 people. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's been a wide search. So I just wanted to get the right guy in here so we can get the best out of Mendoza and convert him into a franchise quarterback for the next 10, 15 years. So whatever that name is, I don't care. Everybody's saying Clint Kubiak from the Seahawks, the offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? He looks pretty good. But at the end of the day, I don't care who it is. I just want the right man for the job because I don't want the same situation we had here with Pete Carroll here last year. You know what I mean? I'm just over it.
And Raider Love. What's your take on the situation? You were short and sweet with us when we asked you off screen. So,
So we already know your stance.
Please share it out loud.
Your stance is let's fucking pick someone and let's fucking go. And so I don't blame you.
Short and sweet. I love it.
Short and sweet. And you know, I'm along those lines, but I do have a criteria. So for a head coach, I just want someone young. I just want someone who's offensive minded. Pick someone like that and let's go. So as far as you know, first round pick, if we go the route with Mendoza, which if we're gonna pick first round, I would want Mendoza. I do think he has what it takes. I seen what I needed to see and watching him play. In the past, I have been suckered, catfished by highlight reels because I didn't really watch college football. So I would immediately go to highlight reels when we had people that we were thinking about. And you know what? They are just what they are. They're highlights, right? We don't see the bad part of it.
Right.
So in watching the games, college games, first time this year, other than Fresno State, I go to Fresno State games, but watching them in general to scout, like I have you know, an authority to make a decision anyways. But in just watching Mendoza and, you know, and there was a kid, I think Beck. Yeah. I don't even know who all of them are. I don't really look into anybody until names are dropped. So I seen what I wanted to see, and I don't mind taking Mendoza first round. I don't care. I just don't want no more bridges. I don't want no veteran quarterbacks. I want to start a true rebuild, which means new. I don't want any leftovers, used up, washed up quarterbacks that nobody wants anymore. But same thing. Pick them. Let's go. And let's ride it out.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, let's just get our head coach. Let's just get our guy, and then let's go. That's it.
Let's build.
Time to shake out, right? Let's build. Let's do something different. Let's go in a different direction. Let's
because that's what we've been doing every season.
D-Menace is in the chat.
Hey, D-Menace.
My boy D-Menace.
That's what we've been doing in the past, and what's the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
You know, you keep doing the same thing over and over again. Yep. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. Nothing's going to change if nothing changes.
Right. I see some people showing up in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Marcus, my guy, salute you.
What's up, Marcus?
Yeah, look, exactly. Like I want to try something different rather than doing the same stuff that just doesn't work. So let's get our guy, both head coach, draft picks, not just with our first round. We've got what, 10 other picks. People seem to forget that whenever we're going over the same or what we do with the first round. Well, it's not just that's going to matter. It's what we do every other round that's going to matter. I mean, we in the fourth round, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Salute to everybody in the chat. Is my camera quality kind of bugging in and out?
A little blurry.
A little blurry.
Could be my connection. Okay. I might just dip out for a second while I situate myself. Ont6, you have a take over the reins just while I'm out. I'm just going to fix my connection.
Yeah. Go ahead, AR. No, at the end of the day, I'm with you. I'm just don't want to do no more bridges. At the end of the day, we just got to get the right coach in here and let him do what he needs to do for 3 or 4 years in a complete rebuild. Because at the same time, I'm tired, like you said, bringing people in here, bringing players in here for one system. Then the next year, the coach is gone and they don't fit this system. Then we have to bring a whole bunch of new guys over and over again. I'm just over it. You know what I mean? Especially, too, when you draft a rookie quarterback, it's always important that you get the head coach right, because you want them to be together for 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? To build that rapport with each other. You know what I mean? And get to know each other. And that's what get familiar with the offense. That's a lot. I think a lot of franchises mess up these days. They give him one off in the corner after a couple of games. They fire him. They bring somebody in. It's like the same thing over and over again. And then you wonder why these kids don't turn out. You know what I mean? There's no continuity in the organization or for them to become a better player they're supposed to be. So at the end of the day, I'm just want us to get the right guy, because the last time we had the number 1 pick, we drafted Jamarcus Russell, and we all know how that turned out. You know what I mean? It wasn't the talent was all there. It just everything in the head. But we can. I can, because you know what? At the end of the day, I hoped for him. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? I had my Jamarcus Russell jersey. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it just sucks because he had all the talent in the world. You know what I mean? But it just didn't work out because he didn't have it up here mentally. But that's not one thing I'm worried about Fernando at all. At the end of the day, I know he's mentally strong, especially how he went against my Miami Hurricanes in the National Championship game and balled out. That was really impressive. And
that defense was tough. That defense.
It was.
That's what I needed to see was his mentality.
Yeah,
because you have to. It is a mental game, and a lot of people don't realize that it's a mental game. And how he bounced back from that hit to the mouth, those sacks, he literally just came back to make up for that. And he didn't let it shake him. And that's what I look for.
No,
but if you could have wrote it out with one of our past few coaches, who would you have wrote it out with?
Oh man, I don't even want to think about that. Oh man, that's a good one.
Who would you have wrote it out with? Because we've been saying, we keep switching coaches. Well, who should have we stuck it out with in the past few coaches that we've had?
I don't know. Oh, probably the special teams coach that we had. What's his name? Rich.
Bidkasia.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's the one that really got away. I think he was the one that we messed up on. To be honest,
he did. But then after that, I probably would have stuck it out with the AP.
Yeah, I think so too.
I was real upset when
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that, like, yeah, he made his mistakes, but like at the same time, I think there's elements that I felt he was dealt a bad hand, and
he was.
You know, what if we'd have given him more of a chance? Who knows? But here we are. So let's just move forward. And you said it best. Can you repeat it one more time, Raider Love?
Which part? Your stance?
The picking the coach.
Pick your coach.
And who and what?
Pick your player and let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Just pick. Let's fucking go. Let's roll.
Yeah, for sure. I'm right with you. All right. Well, look, that's all we're going to give time for on that side of the fence for now. Maybe we might revisit it once we've gone over the main topic of the day, because I want to go over something different. So this is my favorite time of the year. So it's usually me and Aunt that usually do this. So the topic for today, and I usually say this year in, year out, whenever it comes to draft classes, it's not fair to grade a draft right from the rip. Once you've picked it, like you can have an opinion on how you feel about the pick, but you need to see how it shakes out. There's been so many times where we've drafted guys that, you know, it looks good on paper and it just doesn't pan out. And then there's other times where we draft people who's like, who the hell's that guy? And he turns out to be Max Crosby, right?
Facts.
So, you know, we usually do this at once every year. So this is 3 years down the line. So we're going to go back to the 2023 draft class. So they've all had 3 seasons now with the Raiders where we can finally give our thoughts and opinions on how they went. So I don't know about you guys and girls. You ready to go or what?
Let's roll.
Let's go. Let's ride.
Let's go. All right.
Just like our team.
We ain't going to say that over here. All right. Give me a moment. I'll share the screen. So, all right. You guys can see it. You guys and girls can see that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to go back in time to 2023 draft class. So this was Josh McDaniel's final draft class before he was tumultuously given the boot. And this is his legacy to us. Yay. So we're going to get into it with each individual pick. Now we're going to grade on value and production and what they did specifically for us. It doesn't matter what they did. Granted, most of these cats who left us did nada with other teams anyway, but we're only grading specifically how the pick worked out for us. So we're going to go round for round, and then at the end of it, we're going to give a final grade and, yeah, just shoot our final opinions. So without further ado, and James, I see you in the building. What's up, my dude? Let's go James? To round number 1.
Oh, here we go.
So round number 1, pick 7. We selected defensive end from Texas Tech. Oh, boy. Tyree Wilson. Now, you guys can see the stats on the screen. 3 seasons, 7 starts, 12 sacks, 91 combined tackles, 16 tackles for a loss, 24 QB hits, 4 forced fumbles, and 1 safety. I'm going to start off with you, Raider Love. What's your takes and opinions on old buddy Tyree Wilson?
You know damn well I'm going to give him an F.
And
it's not even his fault. It's like one of those things where, like, you didn't go to school, but we don't know what your real talent is. But you did school, so we don't know what you really got because you never took the test or did the homework assignment.
What's up, Anthony? Sorry about that. So, you got any other takes on our buddy Tyree?
I really can't give any takes on him. He's been gone. I feel like it's not even fair giving him the grade, but I have to do it based on, you know, the stats and his performance, and I don't really have a good feel for him.
I'll tell you what, I'll go next. Now, a lot of people have heard me on many lives being critical of the production that we've had since drafting Tyree Wilson, being that when you draft in the first round, I said it many times, you don't draft there to find rotational guys. You draft for what should be a cornerstone for your team. Okay, maybe not year 1, but it needs to be that by year 3. You need to be a starter and a productive starter at that if you're drafting in round 1 specifically. Now, with Tyree, I'll go to the positives. Like, he has been getting better each year, right? He does do some things in spots. But that's the problem, is that all it is usually spots. It took 3 seasons for him to finally have a signature game, which was the last game of the season against the Chiefs, which was encouraging to see. He had a I don't know, he was the defensive man in the match for that particular game. I was there live, and I liked what I saw from him. It's just been unfortunate that we haven't gotten that consistently enough for a first-round draft selection. And, 3 seasons and 12 sacks, that's not good enough. It needs to be better. He's coming up to what will be the final year of his rookie contract unless we extend it, and I don't see that happening. So it's encouraging to see that he's been trending upwards, but it's just not enough for what you want out of a first-round selection.
No.
But I'll go to you on 6 for your opinion? How do you feel?
I mean, this has been let's just be honest. This was a complete waste of a draft pick. We should have never drafted him at all. At the end of the day, we should have drafted Jalen Carter like we all wanted, but we were too scared because of his off the field concerns. But at the end of the day, we should have gone with our gut instinct. But it is what it is. But this guy Tyree, we were live during the draft, AR, and our co-host buddy said that this guy was going to be the second coming of Greg Townsend. You know what I mean? We were going to have him and Max Crosby the next 10, 50 years. They're going to rewrite the record books. And what have they done? Nothing at all. Everybody wants to say, well, he looked a little good this last game of the season. Yeah, it was against the Chiefs' third string left tackle. So let's just pump the brakes saying that he's actually breaking out when he's playing against third stringers and looking good and dominant. But at the end of the day, I don't got nothing personal against this kid. I wish him all the luck. Hopefully he produces and turns out what he's supposed to be. But at the end of the day, it's just been a complete waste of the draft pick, just like we have been for the last 5-6 drafts, wasting draft picks on these guys with potential. And they're going to be Hall of Famers and all kinds of stuff, but it just sucks. Especially that, seven starts in 7 seasons now. That's ridiculous. Unbelievable and stuff. You know what I mean? 12 sacks from the 7th overall pick in the draft. Horrible.
It's not too late for Tyree, but up to now, it's 3 seasons deep. To get what we've had so far, no matter how you cook it or cut it, it's not been good enough. But he's still going to have one more season with us, barring a trade, to, live up to that expectation. But as it stands right now, Raider Love, and salute to Raiders Unleashed. I see you in the building. What's your grade? You're going to go straight F?
Yep.
All right. So Raider Love gives an F, and chat, if you want to give your grade in the comments feed, I'll pull them up in the chat. What about you, Ont6? How do you feel?
I'm gonna give him a Tyree the letter E from because you know what I mean. He's always missing, just like the letter E in our grading system.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I love it.
An E. All right, I'll put an E on the screen for now, but we got to give. He's not a grade, so we got to give an actual grade. So do you?
We'll just go ahead and get. Yeah, we'll just give him an F. But you know what I mean. Just wanted to say that.
Hey, you tough crowd here. Well, I'm going to play Mr. Nice Guy here, despite me being one of the loudest in the room when it comes to criticizing what we've got out of Tyree since we drafted him. I will give him a generous D+, because he has stuck around for 3 seasons. Yes, it's been underwhelming, but he's done some things in spots. Not enough things, which is why the grade is still unacceptably low for a first-round draft selection. But he's not all the way a disappointment like other guys like a Damon Arnett or Alex Leatherwood, who only lasted, 1 season. He's been with us 3 seasons, done something sometimes. I'm going to be generous, so I'll give him a D+. But the value for where we selected him, just not good enough. And it has gotten better since the selection of Tyree. We selected Brock Bowers, and now with Ashton Genty, and I hope that trend continues with our next draft, which is going to be one of the most important drafts in our history. But we will see. But we're going to move on now, and salute to you. I see you in the chat. Shemp, if I didn't say hello, good to see you, my friend. I'm going to read out this comment. Ben says A+, right? Well, he's just as critical as I am, so... and salute to you, Space Beast. I see you in the building.
Bye, Tyree.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on. We'll move on to the next one. So this is another guy I kind of get critical of too. So in round 2, we actually traded up for this guy, if people remember correctly.
Yeah, we did.
Round 2, pick 35 out of Notre Dame, tight end Michael Mayer. So 3 seasons, 38 games, 122 targets, 83 receptions, 788 yards, which is about 250 yards a season, and 3 touchdowns, which is averaging 1 touchdown per season. So, all right, look, I'll let Ont6 go first on this. Ont6, how do you feel about Michael Mayer?
To be honest, I like the pick when it happened. You know what I mean? It just sucks that he's been having stuff off the field. You know what I mean? Going on with them, so hopefully he can get everything going together. You know what I mean? Especially this year coming up, because we're gonna need him, especially when we get my boy Fernando Mendoza. But at the end of the day, it just sucks because the sky's the limit for this guy. You know what I mean? He was the best tight end coming out of the draft. I thought we were going to have our next Zach Miller. You know what I mean? That's what I literally thought he was going to be. You know what I mean? Coming here day one, be our fucking quarterback's safety net. And how did that turn out? You know what I mean? Just disappointment after disappointment that it was so bad that we went to go get another tight end, you know, Brock Bowers a year later, you know. So at the end of the day, it's just disappointment, but it's not all bad. At the end of the day, you know, there's still a lot of good there. You know what I mean? Still a lot of talent. He's a good run blocker. He can catch the ball, but it just sucks because I just want him to put a whole year together, you know, to see what he can actually do on the field.
I'll go next, Raider Love. So with Michael Mayer, this is another guy I get critical of, but I will start with the positives. Like I agree with you on Ont6. There's a lot of elements there to like. The guy has all the physical traits. He has what it takes to produce, and when he gets the ball, he's good. When he's on the field, he's good enough. But my criticism stems from, like, you look at the numbers there. I mean, you trade up for what on paper was the best tight end in the class, and granted, we drafted what many regard to be one of, if not the best tight end in the league in Brock Bowers, who's exceeded expectations so far. But talking about Michael Mayer specifically, I mean, no one's going to sell me that 250 yards, give or take, a season and one touchdown a season, 3 touchdowns total, is good enough numbers. And salute to you, Lecky, good to see you in the feed, for a round 2 selection that we traded up for. I mean, in years past, like, you look at guys like Foster Moreau and Michael Rivera, who were drafted well later in the draft, and they were able to produce a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy has all the tools. It's just from a numbers standpoint, like, that's where my criticism stems from. No one's going to sell me that's even close to good enough, because it's not. But he has what it takes. If he can put it together, remain healthy, and at least, like, when we talk about off the field issues, it's more like the word has it that he took a mental health break because he just wasn't quite there. So he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there. But that's how I feel about Michael Mayer, and I will give my grade once Raider Love shoots her take off. How do you feel?
So I actually like Mayer, and I do think that he has great potential. I just don't think that, you know, with the way the O-line has been, I think his lack of production comes from, you know, play calling, the O-line. But I will say that considering we don't have a number 1 receiver, I think the two tight end package works.
What's up, Nate?
And so I think right now, until we get a number 1 wide receiver, I think Michael Mayer will come through as a 2 tight end package with Bowers. And it's very rare that you see a tight end that stands out, like, you know, like Bowers, or, you know, like Travis Kelce, you know, and I would say he's right below that. So, I mean, I think he has potential. I would give him a C. And that's not because, you know, I don't think he can be an A or a B or B, but he just hasn't been given the opportunity. But when he is given the opportunity, he shows up.
I appreciate your take. So, you know, maybe I am being kind of harsher, and I do kind of agree with that comment, maybe specifically for Michael Mayer. And I'll take that into consideration when I give my final grade. But, like, where it brings it down for me is, as I said, like, when you look at the production and the numbers, like, no matter how you cook it or you cut it, you don't draft a tight end round 2 and get that kind of production after 3 seasons. Like, unfortunately, that's just not good enough. And it needs to be better when he gets his opportunity, which come year 4, we might see him get more opportunities, maybe not, because I don't know what this coaching stuff is going to bring in terms of what they do with the tight ends. I mean, we know what we have in Brock Bowers until proven otherwise. But what Michael Mayer does from here, I hope he does live up to the faith and belief that many of us, including myself, this is why I get critical of the guy, because I know he can produce more. But I want that. 250 yards and 1 touchdown per season. To me, that's what brings it down for me. Yes, I know there's other factors to take into consideration, which is why I might be a little generous when I give him this grade. Maybe I'm being harsh. but I'm gonna give him. God, I almost want to go D+, but you know what? I am gonna be harsh. D+. Sorry, gang, but just by the numbers. But I do think he is better than that, and I hope he proves it by year 4 because he does have it in him. But what say you, Ont6? What would be your grade for Mr. Mayo?
I'll give him a D just because when Brock Bowers was out last
you're gonna
season,
be harsher than me. Okay.
Yeah, I am, because at the end of the day, I thought this guy was going to be Zach Miller, like I told you, man. I had high hope for him, especially, too, you know what I mean, in the second round. So at the end of the day, I'll give him a D just because he didn't get an F, but last year when Brock Bowers was out, he did produce those couple games. So he has been producing lately more than Tyree has. So at the end of the day, I'll give him a D.
Okay. And that's another factor, I guess, to take into consideration is that quarterback play. God, like I want to give him a higher grade so bad, but just production wise, it's just like I said, it's just not good enough. Like, do I play nice guy and bump it up a little bit?
I don't know.
I thought we were talking.
I'm going to stick with that for now.
Cumulative, all together, all around.
All around, yes. All those factors you got to take into consideration. This is a tough one with Michael Mayer because we know we can produce better, and that when he's on the field, we do see better. But just when I look at the numbers, it's just, oh god. And I'll just read out this comment here. Salute to you, Cool Kev. I see you in the building. Nice to see you, my friend.
What's up, Cool Kev?
This is Raider Rebel, I believe. So Big Mike has never let us down, and when we need him, well, they've never had to depend on them since they drafted Brock Bowers. There is that. I mean, we did need him to step up, like when, like, I don't know. There has been times when Brock Bowers has been unavailable, and I don't know. I'm going to come back to this, but for now, I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll move on to the next pick. All right. So
it's heartbroken.
We might revisit it come the end. It's hard. It's a tough one with Michael Mayer, but I think we can all agree he can be better in terms of his numbers. All right. And salute to you, John. I see you in the building. All right, we'll go to the next one. All right.
Oh man, this is too funny, man. Oh man, at the end of the day, this selection is something else, man. That's all I got to say.
All right, so this is going to get interesting. All right, so round 3. Pick number 70, we select defensive tackle. Another swing at defensive tackle. Up until that point, I believe, since 2017, had been 9 or 8 defensive tackles we've tried to take in the draft, none of which have done much of anything. Here we go again, taking another guy in Byron Young from Alabama. You guys can see the numbers there. 1 season, 6 games, 4 combined tackles. And word on the street, I don't know if there's validity to this, is that we took the wrong Byron Young, because the Byron Young that went and got drafted in the same class that went only a few picks later to the Los Angeles Rams, he goes on to become a Pro Bowl like type talent player. That it's like, oh, you can't write this stuff out, right? It's just. I mean, for me, this is an easy one, and I'll go first this time. Like this, it can't be anything else but an F. We got nothing out of this guy. He was cut after 1 season, didn't make the team year 2, and just unacceptable. So, Raider Love, you got a short and sweet take. You look pretty fed up.
F. There's no conflict here. F.
On F. At the end of the day, what a waste of a draft pick, especially to finding out that this was the wrong Byron Young that we wanted. Like you said, it's one of the most Raider things ever and shit, just to be laughing at it now. But at the time where we're mad, and still mad to the day, because we just keep wasting draft picks on defensive tackles. But just an F. You're going to be here for one season, and all you're going to do is get 4 combined tackles. 4 tackles. That's embarrassing. You know what I mean? That's another. You know where we need to put him? We need to put him in the bathroom. That's where he needs to go, in the fucking bathroom.
In the toilet.
Yes, he does.
And I hear that's the case, Shemp, that he's now in the rotation with the Eagles, right? So go figure. But, well, it's an all round F for us. I mean, these are the picks that really hurt us in the long run. Like, you can't keep doing this where we take these players and they don't even last a season. It's unacceptable. Yeah, Byron Young, what a disappointment. And I hope the rumors aren't true that we actually, this is the guy we wanted and not the other guy. We just got the names wrong, right? Terrible.
Oh, man.
All right, well, we'll move on.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess a semi-positive, I guess, from here. So round 3, pick 100. We select wide receiver and what we thought at the time was going to be a returner, but he hasn't really done much of it. Cincinnati Bearcat, wide receiver Trey Tucker. So 3 seasons, 50 games, 207 targets, 123 receptions, 788 yards, and 11 touchdowns. So the touchdowns are there, which I do like. Love, how do you feel about Trey Tucker?
You know, he's not a number one. Even regardless of our O-line and our play calling this season, last season, he's not a number one for me. He's a solid 2. I don't even really think he has a potential to be a number 1. I think he's always going to be a solid 2 for me. So that's it.
What about you, Aunt? How do you feel about Tucker?
I love Tucker. At the end of the day, I think his production has been hurt by our quarterback playing our offensive line, because there's been plenty of times that he's been wide open and the quarterbacks have underthrown him, overthrown him, or he's been wide open and they can't get him the ball. You know what I mean? Just makes you think what production he could really have if he actually had a offensive coordinator, offensive line, a decent quarterback that actually get him the ball. But at the end of the day, this was one of the better draft picks that we got in this draft class. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to my boy Trey Tucker.
You didn't have a lot to choose from to pick the top of this draft pick. I'm just saying.
No, you're right.
Would you say he's a number 1 or a number 2?
For me personally, he's more of a slot receiver to me, so he will be a number 3 for me, to be honest with you. I don't even see him as a number 2. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I would agree with that. Like, I like Trey Tucker and I like what he does in spots, and that's what we drafted him to be. If it was going to be any more than that, which he's had to be in circumstance because of trades or whatever else. Remember, we had Devontae Adams year 1, and then year 2 we had Jacoby Myers. But due to circumstance, he's had to step up per se, and I like that he has, or at least tried to do so for the most part. I mean, I do agree. I don't really like him as our wide receiver number 1. Maybe not even wide receiver number 2, although he does a competent enough job with it. I guess what I see is that, like, when he gets the ball, he does well. When he can get separation, he does well. The problem with me when just from the eye test, I'm not an X's and O guy, but with Trey Tucker is I find he struggles in the contest. When you throw him those 50-50 balls, he's going to lose 9 times out of 10. But granted, the quarterback play has not been great since he's been around. And with all things considered, still being on our roster and looking like he's still going to produce for us, and I do like those numbers, 11 touchdowns. In terms of value for what we got in round 3, I'll give him a C. I'm going to go C+. Trey Tucker. But what say you guys?
C+.
I would say C.
So you go C. And what about you, Love?
C+. I'll give him a plus because I do like the kid, but I just don't think that he's a number 1.
Right, I got you. Trey, I'll give it a C. Another player that's not used to his abilities. Right, and the other thing is that when we drafted the guy, because he was productive from what I understand with his return abilities, we haven't even tried him there. Well, not much from what I recollect. So that's something that's kind of disappointing that we haven't utilized him there. But I do like what he does when he gets ball in hand. Can he be anything more than being a good spot guy? Possibly, but at least we got something out of Trey Tucker, which is something we cannot say for the majority of these guys we drafted, right?
Right. I would keep him for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Me too. All right. We're going to move on then. So in round 4, pick 104, we selected cornerback, athletic cornerback out of Maryland, Jacorian Bennett, who was on our roster for 2 seasons, 24 games, 11 pass deflections, 0 interceptions, 58 combined tackles. I'll go first to Jacorian Bennett. Now, this is a guy who I was heavily critical of year 1. There was times where I noticed that it looks like he was lacking effort when it came to being able to chase down players if they caught the ball and they were getting him away from him. I noticed that a few times. And yeah, that's something I didn't like. But year 2, I thought the guy was produced very well. He took he was able to trend upwards with his play, and I thought he showed some things. I endorsed this guy to possibly he could be the coverage cornerback that we were looking for, because I mean, he wasn't getting beaten much, if at all, against some tough competition come year 2. I remember he had a good game against one of the premier wide receivers in the game. I think it was against the Vikings, if I'm not mistaken. And that opened up a lot of eyes, and I had faith and belief in the guy come year 3, but the coaching staff saw otherwise in terms of his intangibles and what he brought to the table, and apparently it was not a good scheme fit. So we ended up trading him away for Thomas Booker, who the jury is still out. Like Thomas Booker showed some things. Start of the season kind of fell off a little bit towards the end, but so did the rest of the team. But we're going to be talking specifically about Jacorian Bennett now. A guy gave us 2 seasons, was quite productive year 2, but unfortunately isn't on our roster anymore. But what say you, Raider Love? What's your thoughts on Jacorian Bennett?
To be honest with you, when I think about cornerbacks and I think about defensive players, I always look at their interceptions, because that's something that always stands out to me. So, I mean, I don't think it's hurting us without him. So I don't really have too much to say about Jacorian Bennett.
I will give you a little bit of objectivity to that. Like, I really felt like we missed his coverage, at least on one side of the ball. For the most part, year 2, I thought he was taking away one side of the field for the most part, which is something that you don't really see too much from a lot of our cornerbacks. Yeah, the interceptions aren't there, but he was making plays that I noticed come year 2. It's just unfortunate that we got rid of him, and then we had all these other cornerbacks in the room that had all the intangibles, the physical traits coming out of the draft, and they just hadn't really produced. A lot of them is year 1, year 2, granted, they still need time, but Jacorian Bennett was able to do it year 2. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I would have kept them.
Any other takes? I would have too. I thought it was a horrible decision to trade him off, and the jury's still out on how that trade will turn out. But yeah, Ont6, how do you feel?
I mean, at the end of the day, this kid had a lot of potential. Like you said, in the second year, he was shutting some of the top wide receivers in the league down. The stupidest thing we did was hire Pete Carroll and then bring in that cover 3 system. You know what I mean? Because he didn't fit the system, guys. You know what I mean? You just imagine what kind of leap he would have made in year 3 and that being in that same system. You know what I mean? You could have turned into one of the premier shutdown corners in the league. You know what I mean? If not just an average cornerback, but at the end of the day, we'll never know now. But it just sucks that there was all this talent there, and we've seen it, and we just pretty much gave it away for nothing. But it just sucks, and just goes to show you how it's really important that you keep a system and the scheme together for more than a couple of years, because you get your chance to develop your players in them, and then they're able to turn into Pro Bowl caliber players.
Right, and it's going to really hurt us if Jacorian Bennett does keep trending upwards and turns out to be that in time with another team, especially if Thomas Booker doesn't turn out. But I'll give my grade first. So I'll go a solid C, because I thought he was highly productive year 2, but unfortunately he's not on our roster anymore. He was only with us 2 years, so that's even being generous, giving him a C. But I guess it can't be any higher for me with him. The fact that he's not on our roster anymore in 2 seasons. Yeah, but what about you guys? How do you feel?
I'll give him a C minus.
C minus? And Aunt, how do you go?
I'll give him a D. The only reason I'm gonna give him a D, I want to give him a C, but it's not his fault. At the end of the day, it's not his fault just because there was a scheme change. But at the end of the day, I gotta go with this production. And I'm not saying, you know what I mean. He probably does deserve a C. To be honest with you, another thing about he did
take into
produce.
consideration on. Sorry to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
we also selected in round 4, so
Yeah,
at least for round 4 selection, like this is what you're looking for. Round 4 and onwards is a guy who's going to contribute and do some things, and if he can be better than that, then fantastic. And I felt he was better than that come year 2, but you keep going. That's how you feel.
No, you get. You know what I mean? I just gave him a C. That he did produce more than anybody, some of the other people in this draft class, and he did have that good second year, so he does deserve a C.
Right, and we did factor that in. I mean,
I did.
There was criticism with. Well, Jacorian Bennett, like, I think people criticize him, and this is why they made the trade. This was their case, is that, like, Jacorian Bennett wasn't the tackler that a lot of these other cornerbacks were that we had before the last season. But my argument was just like, well, for me, what's the number one priority as a corner is coverage. And I thought that Jacorian Bennett did that at the very least. But look, that's it, I guess. You know, I've given my grade, and so is Ont and Love. So you going to stick with your D, Ont6?
No, I'm going to give him a C. At the end of the day, I think he deserves.
You going to bump it?
Yeah, I'm going to bump it a little bit. I had a little change of heart.
C minus or C?
No, we're just going to give him a C.
All right. And yeah, cool, Kev. He came from a great A school, but he didn't really do much. Well, I thought, like I said, I thought year 2 he was playing better, but unfortunately he's not. So we'll move on. We've given our grades, so we'll go to the next guy. So this is a polarizing figure, and this will be an interesting one. In round 4, we selected out of Purdue quarterback Aiden O'Connell. Round 4, pick 135. He's still on our roster. Technically, I think he's the only quarterback we have.
No, we have Pickett.
17 starts. Do we? Is he still around?
I think, yeah, we have Pickett. And we still have Gino, technically.
Okay.
I think Gino.
I expect. Go on.
No, I said Gino and O'Connor are the only ones under contract, and Pickett's the free agent.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. And I agree with that, Reb. But Aiden O'Connell, 3 seasons, 17 starts, 377 completions, 62% completion rate, 20 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. So this is a guy who has come in through circumstance a lot of the time. And at times he's done reasonably well. He's had some good games and he's had some average games. But I think with all things considered, around 4 backup quarterback, that's what I like with Aiden O'Connell. At least we've gotten a guy who's competent enough as a backup. Do I like him as our starter or the guy we build around? And Suchi, I'm not blaming D-Mokes. Not really. I never did. But there are some things and elements that I do like about Aiden O'Connell. And at least he hasn't been all the way terrible like a lot of our other quarterback play has been consistently. Well, what say you, Raider Love? How do you feel about it?
So, Aiden O'Connell, I liked his highlight reel when we drafted him. I was not mad at it. And usually I'm pissed off before preseason by some of our choices and coaches, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, when I watched his highlight reel when we drafted him, I wasn't upset about him, but I do think that he wasn't given enough playtime and chances. He should have been, I would have took him over Garoppolo, Minshew, and Gino, to be honest with you. All 3 of them. Because to me, it's like and this is where we go back to, you know, not giving them enough playtime and not letting someone develop. I think when we came in, we gave up on him too fast. We should have gave him that first year and gave him that playtime instead of, you know, putting another veteran quarterback in. We just need to know when someone's not going to work out and just say, hey, you know what? Our season's going to be effed anyway, so let's just put this kid in and see what he has for the rest of the season. He wasn't, 17 starts. 17 starts. He should have had more chances in the first couple of years to come in and to really develop and to develop that mentality that he needs to have to be on the Raiders team. So I think now, though, it's too late. It's too late now to do that with him. And I would keep him as a 3rd string, to be honest. I wouldn't even want him as a backup. So But I think that he you know we gypped him.
I guess like before I let you shoot on six, like hindsight's all good and great now. Seeing that like we saw what we got out of the veteran QBs that we brought in the door. But yeah, look, I guess would our seasons have been different if we'd have just rocked with Aiden O'Connell? I guess we're never going to know.
No, we're never gonna know.
Could we have done better with more opportunity? Because he has done at least okay with the opportunities he's been given. But I'll let you shoot on six. How do you feel about Aiden?
I mean, at the end of the day, getting the backup quarterback or third string quarterback that produces for you or can win you a game every now and then in the fourth round, it was worth the pick to me at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like Love said, we didn't give him enough opportunities. You know, to only give him 17 starts in the 3 years he was here with how many different coaches, how many different schemes with no offensive line, a lot of weapons. You know what I mean? It just we did wrong by him. But at the end of the day, I'd give the grade a C. You know what I mean? Because he did produce for us. You know what I mean? And he's a decent backup, and he's going to be here next year. So at the end of the day, shout out to our boy Nakano for at least producing.
Mic check, mic check. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. Sorry, on six, what did you say your grade was?
A C.
Solid C? Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Raider Love? What grade would you give, factoring in like what he's been able to do, where we picked him, and circumstance and everything all together? What would you grade out, Aiden?
He just needed tutoring, so let's see.
Straight C. You know what? I'm going to rock with that. I guess there's a part of me that may want to bump him up, possibly to C+, being that a round 4 guy. Quarterback is still on our roster who can win us some games. And that was my expectation with Aiden from the start. And he lived up to that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe he can be any more than that. Maybe he might be able to prove me wrong. But to get what I feel we drafted him to be, a competent enough quarterback who can win you some games when we bring him in. And he's done that. So you know what? I am going to give him a C+. So I'm going to be generous. C+.
Okay.
But somewhat positive, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Is that going to change? It is going to change with our next pick.
oh man.
Woo! Man. All right. So with our round 5 selection, it's going to get a little rough from here again. What's the news, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Round 5, pick 175. We selected safety from Georgia, Christopher Smith III. 3 seasons, well, it was 2.5. He didn't make it to the end of this season. We released him, I believe, 8 or 9 games in. 36 games, 0+ deflections, 0 interceptions, 10 combined tackles, and 0 tackles. So the production really wasn't there. More of a special teams guy from what I noticed. I remember he had 1 good game in preseason, but that was it. And that was enough for him to win his roster spot, but he just couldn't retain it because he wasn't doing much. Granted, he didn't really get the opportunities, but I guess that's what you need to do. You need to fight for your opportunities, and he just wasn't good enough. And what he brought to the table, unfortunately, I had some high hopes for Christopher Smith, being that this is a guy who was a defensive captain at the championship-winning Georgia team, I believe.
Yeah.
But we just didn't really get much of any burn from Christopher Smith III. Well, what say you, Raider Love? You got any thoughts? Or you kind of had to think back when I went over Christopher Smith when we were off camera, right?
Who is this? Who is this?
She said, "Who is this guy?"
Who the hell?
And that's a problem.
That's cold-blooded. She said, "Who is this?"
That's all I got to say. Who's this?
Who this?
Who this? Ont6, what about you? You got anything further to say about buddy Christopher Smith?
Like the homegirl Love said, "Who this?"
Right.
No, but at
That's
the end of the day,
short and sweet.
No, but to be honest with you, I like you said, I had hopes for him too. You know what I mean? I thought he was going to be a little gem of the draft, that we were going to get a starting safety out of him, and for him that Not even to do anything at all. It just sucks. But he couldn't even cover a player right. Oh, cool cat. Yo, dry. But at the end of the day, I just give this pick a S. There's nothing else to be said. You know who it is? S.
I'll go next, and I'll be a little bit more generous, being that, look, he was around for 2.5 seasons. He was on special teams, did make a play or two in terms of the tackles. That's where I believe the majority of his tackles came from, special teams. But at the end of the day, he didn't really do much of anything. And the fact that you guys are saying, who's this? You know, but I guess when you go for these round 5 and beyond selections, you're going to get a lot of these type picks, unfortunately. If they could be any more than that, then that's always a win. But unfortunately, with Christopher Smith III, didn't really amount to much, if anything. But I'm going to go, I'll go a G. That's generous. A D. But you go ahead, Lover. You're going to go with F?
He's getting an F plus.
I think he might even deserve an E.
All right, I'm going to go D minus. Just there's just not much there, and we'll just move on from there, right?
Yeah.
And then Raider Pete's comment. This is proof how having multiple first and second round picks is crucial in a rebuild. Trading with the Jets could mean we can have 3 or 4 players in the top 36 pick. No Gruden, no Warriors drafted first. Well, to be seen, right? Well, we'll move on to the next one because we have another round 5 selection. It's not going to round 6 selection, and it's not going to get much better, right? Oh my god!
Oh my god!
So round 6, pick 203, we selected a hybrid linebacker on the coverage side of the things from Florida straight out of the Florida Gators. Amari Burney, 2 seasons, 24 games, 32 combined tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. Now, I remember when we drafted this guy, there's quite a bit of hype behind him. There was people that were hyping him up to be the great tight end killer that's going to solve all our tight end coverage woes. Yeah, I heard that story, that song and dance year in, year out with the Tanner Muses and I don't know, all these other guys like Devon Dampler, who, you know, another guy who goes to another team and proves to be just that this year, of course. But Amari Burnett, another swing for the fences per se. And yeah, I mean, there's some production there, but for the most part, another guy just didn't really work out. Raider Love, do you even have an opinion on him? You're looking kind of bored down there.
No. I mean, he's forgettable. He's forgettable. So.
What about you, Ont6?
At the end of the day, this guy is one of the most up there with Tanner Muse hyped up players that we took in the later rounds that I've seen here. And for him to come and do nothing, and not do anything at the end of the day, it was just a waste of another draft pick. I know in the late rounds you take a swing at these players that maybe can do something, but for him to be supposed to be a tight end, shut down Travis Kelce and every tight end problem in the middle of the field for the next 10 or 15 years, it never happened. So at the end of the day, I just give this an F.
Another F. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm not playing today. F.
Another F.
You ain't playing. I'm going to be the nice guy, and it's putting it mildly. I mean, look, he did some things, and I guess if you do some things at round 6 selection, that'll bump you up just a little bit, but not really too much. I mean, it can't be anything more than, I guess, I'll give you, Mr. Burnett, a generous. It's going to be even that generous. I'll just go with a straight D. What about you, Raider Love?
You're about to give her a panic attack.
She's like, what?
I don't know what this D is. Where are you coming from with these Ds?
All right, hear me out. I'm only giving him a D because we selected him round 6 and he did some things. Not too many things, but some things. And at least we got that. If I was to give him a flat out F, that's reserved for the guys who lasted 1 season and did nada, like a guy like Byron Young. You know what I'm saying? So the value for the pick is very micro small, but that micro small is enough to pop him up just a little bit. So just give me a break here. I'm being the nice guy. I thought I was going to be the bad guy of this stream.
Nah.
All right. So give him the no, we ain't going to get that. Pause, big pause. You know what I'm talking about. Get your head out of that guy, God damn it. And salute to you, Dub. Nice to see you in the
What's up, Dub Raider?
Feed, my friend. Yeah. Salute to my guy. All right. So we've given our grades for our second last draft selection. We're going to go to the final pick of the draft, round 7, pick 231, defensive tackle from Arizona State, who had a stint at Miami U, and that's Nestor J. Silvera. 2 seasons, 9 games, 10 combined tackles. Now this is the guy I had some hopes for. You know, I like the selection of this guy. I like what I saw on tape. And a round 7 selection, if he even takes the field and does even just a little bit as a round 7 selection, that's a win. And for a short time frame, I thought he was doing that when he was given his opportunities. But when you look at the number standpoint and how long he lasted, I think he was cut, halfway through his second season, I believe, maybe. And I don't know. Yeah, I guess another guy who just didn't work out. But I mean, Raider Love, do you even have any takes on Nestor? You don't even remember. This is another case.
Who are these people? Who are these people?
Oh my god!
Hey, Raider Love, can you give us your best owl impersonation?
My best L? No.
Owl.
Owl?
The bird,
oh,
you know?
my.
An owl.
Woo. What is this? I thought you meant like Al Davis. I was like, hell no.
No.
I can do it now.
No, I said owl. It's my accent. I said owl.
It is your accent.
O-double-L.
Damn, I'm starting to sound like this for real.
You sounded like an owl down there, right? Not Al, the great Al. R.I.P. What about you, Aunt? How do you feel?
I mean, I was really excited about this guy, especially being a Miami Hurricanes fan. He did transfer from Arizona State to Miami. He had that 1 year with us. Was actually my teammate when I attended Miami, just like my buddy Dustin attended USC. You know what I mean? At the same time, but at the end of the day, it just sucks because I had ordered his jersey. You know, when he made the 53-man roster, I thought he was going to do big things for us, especially when he had his couple starts and he had, you know what I mean, started producing a little bit, but it just, you know, it didn't come out to be, you know what I mean, and just another failed defensive tackle pick that we just keep wasting now. But at the end of the day, he was one of the better ones. I could actually say he played better than our third round pick, Byron Young. You know what I mean? I can really say that he really outplayed him.
That's a very all right. Very low bar.
But at the end of the day,
that's a good way to look at it.
But at the end of the day, I'm gonna give this draft pick a D because he did give us a little something. It wasn't for long, but he did give us a little something.
I noticed him more in preseason doing some things, but like there were times I noticed he was causing a little bit of disruption in the middle, which is what you want from a big guy. But I guess, you know, another one of these picks that didn't really pan out. I'm going to be generous too. I'll go a D. The 7th round guy who did some things, and even though it was like very micro, small. Raider Love, the resident owl of the evening. Is this another F? Is it another F?
No, it's a D minus. You get a minus.
A D. Oh, she's generous. She's being generous.
Wow.
You're
we swayed her just a little tiny bit.
Oh man.
No, I like your honesty. I mean, this is what this is about. Like just giving your honest takes and opinions. You know?
They're just not memorable to me to where I even think about something like that.
Unfortunately, that's with the majority of these picks. They just didn't do enough, if anything, that was memorable. And this is the kind of, now that we're at the end of the, we're going to give our final grades. These are the kind of draft class that hurt us. And it's, in my personal opinion, when you look at how our season went, is not just the sole reason. There's many reasons why we were the literal worst team in the league. But it's draft classes like this where you really need to find guys, especially come year 3. Like, I give concessions your first 2 seasons, to find your feet and to develop. But come year 3, those concessions are out the door. You need to produce. And this is why I like to do these shows, because 3 years deep, that's when you really get to see whether players got it or they don't. And unfortunately, with this draft class, being that for the most part, we didn't find much of anything, and the guys we did find are good in spots. And that's the best we got out of 9 draft selections. Like I said, these are the classes that hurt us in the long run. As for my final grade, I mean, when you look at the bright spots, Trey Tucker, Jacorian Bennett for a minute, Aiden O'Connell did live up to what I believe was what I expected from him and nothing more. Michael Mayer, a guy who can put it together when he has the opportunity, but he needs to produce more, like I said, with his numbers. And Tyree Wilson, a guy who's still on our roster, but it's just not good enough what we've gotten out of him as a first-round draft selection, top 10. And all the other guys really didn't do much, if anything. I'm going to go just a straight D. And even that might be generous. So a D. A draft class that unfortunately really hurt us that we didn't get more than that. And Marcus, I appreciate your membership, 7 months. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate you, brother. And all my other members. I'll go with you next, Ont6, because I'll get Raider Love to go last. It's going to be very spiteful. I can feel it, indeed. How do you feel, Aunt?
I want to give this draft class an F, but I can't because there was some productivity out of it. I'm gonna be like you and give this a D as well, just because there was some production, but not a lot. But it just sucks, and just realize how bad of a drafting organization we've been for the last couple of years. You know what I mean? The good teams in this NFL always build to the draft, always find good players in the later rounds. They're in the same system and develop them. They lose a player and they plug them in, and it just sucks because some of these players were supposed to do that for us, and none of them lived up to it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we still have Aiden O'Connell and Trey Tucker and Mayers on the roster, so hopefully they can turn out and do something for us in the future.
Right. And when you look at this draft class and Josh McDaniels' legacy, this one and the year before that, 2022, when you remember that draft class, we haven't really gotten anybody from either draft class that turned out to be cornerstones for this team, which is just unacceptable.
Facts.
But what say you, last, but definitely not least, Raider Love. What's your final grade? How do you feel?
I'm going back and forth between the F and the D minus, only because there's nobody here that's cellular. There's nobody here. We have, second and third strings. Nobody here has been a critical member of our team, has had any critical
even Trey
impact
Tucker
on our team. Trey Tucker, and that's the only reason why him and me. I'm kind of going back and forth, but I'm gonna be nice and do the D minus. But there's nobody here that has had a critical impact on our team, in my opinion.
I will
Tucker mainly. I'm gonna
agree with you on that one. I will definitely agree 100% on that one. There's as much as I like Trey Tucker and he does well in spots, and maybe he could be better with circumstance and better quarterback play. I'm going to agree with you on that. And you can even look back to the year before's draft too. We drafted nobody in 2 draft classes under the Josh McDaniels regime that are critical members of this roster, like cornerstones, guys you can build around. And to have, by count, was maybe 16, give or take, draft selections in those 2 years, and to have nobody that was that, by now, it's unacceptable. And like I said, is not the whole reason why we are where we were. We were where we were last season, but is a big reason. I agree with you on that. So I guess the general consensus is it can't be any more than a D, and that's even putting it generously. But I guess being that, we do have Trey Tucker and Aiden O'Connell, Michael Mayer. I guess you could even throw in Tyree, still on our roster. We're giving it generously a D overall rather than going for a flat out F, even though you could make a case for that, which is sad. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Anything more to say about that, Ont6 or Raider Love?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm ready to lay this draft class to rest and move on and then get to this year's draft.
It's got to be better. Like, this, to me, is the blueprint of how you don't want your draft class to be. And this season, we're going to have 10 selections where we need to find at least 2 or 3 guys who need to be. How did you put it, Raider Love? What was the word you used?
About what?
Like guys who are cornerstones. What was the way? How do you put it? People who are cornerstones of the team. Thank you.
Critical impact on our team.
We need to find at least 2 3 guys who at least, I mean, if they can be right from the rip, but by year 2, year 3, God, I forgot again. What is it? Critical impact guys.
Impact on our team.
Critical impact players for our roster. You can't just be a goose egg across the board over 2 draft classes. That's just unacceptable. And it leads us to where we are right now, right? All right, so we're going to go back to the main screen. Give me a moment. There we go. All right, gang. Well, is there anything else you guys want to go over before we get up out of here? I mean, the coaching search continues, as we know, and I don't really want to go over the Mendoza debate again. Like, everybody knows my side of the fence and how I feel, so we've already talked about that, and I really don't want to spend another half an hour talking about those kind of things. I mean, I'm with you guys. Let's just get our guy, get our coach, and let us know. Right?
We already know. You don't give a fuck. Let's roll.
That's right. Not for sure. All right. Well, look, appreciate everybody in the chat. I see all your comments. I'll go with you, Raider Love. You got anything in the pipes you want to share before we get up out of here?
Not yet, but I'm sure I'll have a lot to say when we pick that coach. So I think right now I kind of just feel like it's out of our hands. So it's out of our hands. So why am I gonna drive myself crazy over picking it? Like I have some kind of influence or something. So it's out of my hands. I'm gonna leave it to throwing it to the wind and see what happens. And I'll feel differently once I know who we choose.
Ooh, ooh. I appreciate you. Thank you for giving us your time, Raider Love. It's been a pleasure having you on as our guest and giving us your insights in that. And I know your time is limited, so I do appreciate it very much. And maybe sometime we'll have you on again.
I had a great time with you guys. I love talking football. I do it 24/7.
Right. But what about where we people in the live chat? Where can they find you? What's your handles? Anything you want to share?
So I do some lives on TikTok. I do some posts, my feedback, because I just kind of like to say what I'm gonna say, make a post about it, and then I'm done with it. I don't keep going on and on. I think I did the most posts about Geno Smith because he was pissing me off every week, and it was my rant for the week. But you can find me on TikTok. I'll put it in the chat, actually. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook. I don't have a private account. It is public. Do a lot of Raider events. This weekend, the Tom Flores live stream at 1:00. So I share a lot of things like that. I will be covering the social media at one of the events in Porterville, California. So if you follow me, you'll get to see some lives from that event. And also I'll be doing some interviews with the super fans like Gorilla, the Violator, Greg Townsend. I'll be doing an interview with him as well. And so yeah, I'll put my information so that you guys can follow and see what's going on in Porterville, California.
Thank you very much. And just while you're at it, if you look in the description for the video, you will find the links. But from what I understand, I've done this personally. If you've got TikTok, if you go to Instagram, if you just type in Raider Love in the search bar, it's pretty easy to find and narrow down. You will find Raider Love that way. So you don't need this specific handle. If you just want to just type it in manually, it's pretty easy and seamless to find. So, but if you're having trouble, she's going to share the links in the chat as well as, oh wait, you can't do it because you're not a moderator. Oops. But just go to the description of the video and you will see her handles there. So please go chuck her a follow and be entertained. She's very insightful. This is why I brought her onto the panel. So once again, I do appreciate you.
Thank
but what
you.
about you, Ont6? Anything you want to share before we get up out of here?
Nah, I just want to shout out to everyone that pulled up today. Shout out to my boy AR for having me on. Good to see everyone once again. You know, it's been a while, you know what I mean? Especially with the season that we had, you know what I mean? All I gotta say, I'm ready to put this season behind us and just move forward and see what we have in store. So if you ever want to find me, I'll be on the corner of Central and North on the weekend. You know what I mean? 2-for-1 special. If you know, I'm just following. But at the end of the day, it's all good. I'm just glad to see you guys spend time with everybody. So
for sure. All right, gang. Well, that's it from me. Thank you to everybody who pulled up in the chat. Everyone on the panel. I might get active again once all these final decisions have been made with the coaches. But
Same.
We'll see. If I'm live, I'm live. If I'm not, please, gang, life keeps us busy. As well as I just got back from the States. As most of you know, I was away for 2 months in the States, and I had a great time. But I've had to come home now and situate a lot of things in the personal life. We all have our stories and our responsibilities. So yeah. But before I do leave, I want to give everybody that I came to meet along the way when I was in America a shout out. I appreciate all the love that I received over there and for helping making the trip and the venture the most memorable experience of my life. And I hope to repeat that again sometime soon. To be seen. But anyways, gang, we out. Thanks again. Hit the like, follow, subscribe, all that. Yada, yada, yada. But until then, Raider Nation for life. Win, lose, or tie. You know what time it is. Raider Love. It's Raider Nation till we what?
Till we die.
Till we die.
Here we go. Don't leave me hanging.
And it'll probably kill us.
Till the next one. Yeah.
For sure. Woo. All right. Peace.
Shut up.